Hi guys, welcome to my deck profile for the Cyber Photon Galaxy deck that I've been uploading recently. I'm just going to jump straight into the deck profile, not waste any time. So I'm running a Cyber Dragon package here, which consists of Cyber Dragon, just one, free Cyber Dragon core, 1 Hertz, free Cyber Emergency, and 1 Repair Plant. I find that this is the right ratio to run. You can probably get away with not running Cyber Dragon, but there's a 2 card combo which you could do with Cyber Dragon and go in second. It's not too bad of a card because you can make Mega Fleet with it. Overall, I find that the Cyber package here just adds a whole load of consistency, and it really helps to make a Union carrier. And I definitely recommend running it. I don't think Galaxy Photons is consistent enough to run without it, and also it makes better usage out of Galaxy Soldier because there's a 2 card combo which you could do with Soldier, Photon Dragon, and Core in your graveyard to bring down Infinity and a Lord, or Prime Photon Dragon if you're going for an OTK. But yeah, overall I find that it's good. It adds a lot of consistency. It also means that you could discard off Soldier not more consistently, but in a way where you're not minusing yourself too much, because I find that that's one big problem with this deck with Galaxy Photons, is that you minus yourself and you run out of resources quite fast, and the Cyber package kind of just helps to sort of maintain a high level of resources. After that, I'm playing 1 Galaxy Knight. I think Galaxy Knight is too bricky to run 2 of personally, and in this build, which is a bit more of a hybrid build, I think 1 Knight is okay. You could always add it back with Soul Flare, so I don't think it's too necessary to play 2 or 3. Free Soldier, which is pretty much mandatory. 2 Photon Dragon. I've seen some builds running 3, but I'm not running Trade-in. This is a hybrid build again, so I don't really feel like running 3 is all that consistent. I rarely ever need it, even if you open up 1. I find that you typically search out the second, and by turn 3 or turn 5, assuming you're going first, you're already going for an OTK probably, you're trying to end the game. You typically don't need the third one, I find. With Afterglow Dragon, I think maybe you could run 3 because it summons 1 out from the deck, so presumably you'd open with 1, maybe trade 1 in, and probably search 1 for Vanisher, so you'd still need 1 in the deck to summon from Afterglow. But without it, I think 2 is fine. I think it's a perfect number to run. 2 Thrasher. I think 2 Thrasher's the right number as well. It opens up good combos with Core and Vanisher. It doesn't work too well with Galaxy Brave because both of them kind of function in the same way, but it works with Orbital quite well, and you're effectively running 3 because you're running Rotor anyway. So I'd rather run 2 plus a Rotor than run 3. 3 Vanisher. I know technically there are only 2 targets to add, but I find that you really want to open up this card because there are a lot of 2 card combos you could do with it. And typically, if you do see the third, you can always discard it from Galaxy Soldier, but typically the third is just still in your deck. I know it can sometimes be bricky, but I find it consistent enough to run, and I'm running a hybrid build, and at 3 it's still fine, I think. 3 Photon Orbital, I think you pretty much have to run 3, even though you technically want to attach it with Union Carrier. Rather than open it, you still want to open. You still don't really mind opening with Photon Orbital as long as you don't open with 2. I find that it's okay, and typically I found that 2 is not consistent enough. You definitely want to run 3. And 3 Galaxy Brave, this is probably the most controversial ratio. I've seen a lot of decks running just 1 or 2, or sometimes not any. Galaxy Brave has a lot of usage. It opens up a lot of 2 card combos with Photon Orbital, Photon Vanisher, and Cyber Dragon Core or Cyber Emergency. So you're basically running 12 cards which open up a 2 card combo. Not to mention Photon Sanctuary as well, which also opens up a 2 card combo with Brave because you can always attach Orbital and search Vanisher, and then obviously Brave and Vanisher is a 2 card combo. So yeah, if you play 3, it's not as bricky as you think. You typically do want to see this card, and any spare copies you have can just be discarded with Soldier, so I find it to be okay. Free Photon Sanctuary is pretty much mandatory. You need to play free. It's pretty much a rotor with Photon Orbital and Union Carrier. One rotor, you pretty much have to play it to search out Thrasher and Vanisher. And also, if you're playing Advancer, you'd also want to play a rotor and avoid having to play 2 Advancers. Triple Ash, I find that it's quite necessary in this format. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the best hand trap. Ideally, I would like to play Effect Veiler and Ghost Ogre. I found that Ghost Ogre is actually the best hand trap for the deck because you can use Emergency Teleport with it to extend your plays, but it's just not very good this format. So I've decided to go with Ash instead. 2 DD Crow, again, hand trap that's very good this format against Eldritch. It's pretty good against Adamantipator, Sky Strikers, pretty much everything. DD Crow hits. So, I mean, you can even change it to Invocation, I think, and it'll force Invocation to fizzle, unless they've got Alistair in hand, so it's a pretty good hand trap. Triple Impermanence, you pretty much have to run this for True King of all Calamities. Yeah, pretty much enough said. And 2 Tachyon Transmigration. I was running it at 3, but I found 3 to be slightly too bricky, and it's too good to just play 1 of. So I find 2 to be the perfect ratio. If I'm going second, but I almost always side out, it's pretty much just a going first card. For the extra deck, 1 Mega Fleet for the Cyber Dragon package. It helps go in second, it means you can contact with boards that have Appaloosa, and Avamax, and all sorts of problem monsters. 1 Almirage for the Cyber Dragon Core. You pretty much sometimes will need to get Cyber Dragon Core in the graveyard quite quickly, and Almirage is the best way to do that. I do find that, you know, Almirage being a Cybers and a Fire isn't too useful outside of Isolde plays, which obviously the deck can't do right now because the Flame Noble Knight is still OCG legal and not TCG legal. I was running Security Guard, but that can't actually be used as link material on its own. Actually, I don't think it could be used as link material at all. So yeah, you're pretty much stuck with Almirage, which isn't very good if you've got Photon Sanctuary. But generally, if you've got Photon Sanctuary and Core, you could go into Union Carrier anyway, so you don't really need the Almirage. It's just there for when you, say, open up Brave and Core, it turns that into 2 card combo because you could summon for Core, send it for an Almirage, activate for a Repair Plant to get an Orbital, and then you've got Orbital and Brave, which is a 2 card combo. So that's pretty much why it's there. 1 Union Carrier, which is pretty much mandatory. If Union Carrier gets banned, this deck is going to get hit quite a lot because you pretty much need Union Carrier going first. So yeah, you pretty much do need that, so hopefully it doesn't get banned. 1 Ahashima opens up the 2 card combo with Brave and Vanisher. You could also summon it with Photon Sanctuary as well as a follow-up play. I was running 2, but I find that you typically don't need the second, and the extra deck is so packed that burning Space Sword and extra Hashima is not worth it really. 2 Soul Flare, you pretty much have to play 2. You could play 3, but I find that you rarely ever need the third, because games or matches these days end so fast that you typically don't need the third Soul Flare. 1 Star Liege Photon Blast Dragon is pretty much only rank 4 which you play. It's the best option in my opinion. Yeah, so I'll definitely run it. Cyber Dragon Nova and Cyber Dragon Infinity pretty much mandatory, especially when you're running the Cyber Dragon cards. Double Lords I think is the perfect ratio. I think you have to play 2. You want to summon 1 going first, and for your follow-up play when you're going for your OTK, you want to summon out a second one to protect you from Nibiru. So I find 2 to be the perfect number. 1 Titanic Galaxy, 1 Prime Photon Dragon, 1 Full Armor Photon Dragon, and 1 Cypher Blade Dragon. Yeah, you pretty much need these 2. Well, pretty much going into any other turn outside of your first turn. I was running Dark Ruler No More in the main deck, which is why I really included this, because if you Dark Ruler No More your opponent, you pretty much need to go into this to start clearing your opponent's board. But yeah, I just kept it in afterwards because it actually turned out to be quite good. For the side deck, I'm running 2 Denko Sekko, which is pretty much, you know, back row hate. Denko is still pretty powerful against is it Altergeist? I think it's Altergeist. And Subterra, and just back row decks in general, so I'd still run it. 1 Jizakuru to search out for a repair plant, so it's pretty good against Protect the Castle decks, so I'd still run it. It's pretty good against Sky Striker as well because it shuts down their spells for the turn, so I find just running 1 Jizakuru is good enough. Any more and the deck starts to get a bit bricky. Double Lightning Storm for going second, double Dark Lord and a War for Adamantipator going second, Dragons as well, and also Pendulums, so Endymion and Mythical Beast. Double Cosmic Cyclone for back row removal. I was running Galaxy Cyclone because it's searchable, but I find that most of the time you're not searching Galaxy Cyclone. If your opponent's got Floodgate, then you typically won't know about it during your opponent's standby phase. It'll be during your turn that they'll probably flip up. So I find Cosmic Cyclone to be fine. Triple Evenly Match, which I find to be probably the best card going second. And Triple Gozen Match. So I was actually debating about running this in the main deck, because a lot of decks these days are actually running loads of different attributes. Even Eldritch, which is a light deck, is still running the Jet Synchron Needle Fiber package. That Jet Synchron's obviously a fire, Needle Fiber's a water. So you can run Gozen Match in the main, but I find that against Subterra and against Mermel, which is seen an emergence, a re-emergence with the Deep Sea cards, which allows you to snipe a card from your opponent's hand, that Gozen Match probably isn't good enough to run in the main deck anymore. So I put in the side deck, but I side it in quite a lot, pretty much against everything that isn't Mermel or Subterra. This card gets sided in against, and it's pretty much an auto win. Most decks aren't going to be siding in back row removal against you, because you haven't got a lot of back row. So you can typically flip a Gozen Match and it'll stay up on the field for quite a while. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my deck profile. It's a good deck. It's not tier 1 or tier 0 or anything like that. I'd probably say it's sitting around tier 2. It's a decent deck. It's a fun deck. It can be competitive and it can beat other decks like Adamantipator, Eldritch Synchro and whatnot. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. This is probably going to be my last video on this deck. I don't know what I'll do after, but I feel like I've probably uploaded enough content about this. So yeah, cheers, bye.